Welcome to Turn the Page, the official podcast of the Syosset Public Library.
Hi, this is Stacy Mencher on Turn the Page podcast, and we are here at the local author showcase at the Syosset Public Library, and we are with our first author. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Jared Harrell.
Welcome to the library, and welcome to the local author showcase.
Thanks, nice to be here.
So, you wrote this book, Go Because I Love You. Want to tell us about it?
Sure. Go Because I Love You. It's a full-length collection of poems. And it was, when I wrote the poems individually, I didn't have this grand idea of what it was about, but in putting it together, I've come to think of the collection as kind of this book about arrivals and departures, kind of the intersection of love and loss, who we love, how we stay. And I wrote the poems over the last 5 years, and that kind of coincides with me becoming a father. And so the theme of parenthood also kind of runs through the collection as well.
Very cool. I like the cover of it. Did you choose it, or did someone choose it for you?
That was the publisher. The publisher chose it. They said, we normally give every author 3 cover options, but we really like this one, and we hope you do too. And so I saw it, and I was like, apples, okay. And I'm like, I like it. I'm curious to see what the other 2 options are. And they're like, we really love this one. I'm like, okay. And so apples. Nice.
And we also have in our little pamphlet that you actually grew up locally around here. Is that right?
Yes. I was born in Long Beach, grew up in Woodbury, and then graduated Syosset High School in 2000. So I've came to this library for many years, book reports and so on and so forth.
Well, welcome back as an author here. We're very happy to have you. So it's actually funny because I live in Long Beach now, and
okay.
I used to live in Woodbury, although I went to Jericho.
So you've done the reverse.
Yes, the reverse.
Gotcha.
But
yeah, now I currently
fun.
live in Queens.
Still kind of Long Island. So do you have a favorite poem in your book?
I'm not sure if I have a favorite poem. One in particular that is particularly meaningful to me is the first poem I wrote about my son, and I wrote that in that sort of sleep-deprived first few weeks, and it kind of centered on his birth, and I guess I feel somewhat sentimental about that one because it's one of those poems that I tend to revise a lot in my work, and that's a poem I couldn't revise. I couldn't get myself back in that same sleep-deprived state of mind, so that poem just kind of is how it is, and so I guess that one's kind of special.
Well, that's really cool that you bring your life, your family into your work. Are there any authors or poets that inspired you when you wrote this?
Tons. Many. I got into some poets on the stacks here at the library. I tend to just read widely, both contemporary and, writers of the past, and try to use what I can, bring various voices to the front, For me, reading and writing are kind of like simultaneous activities. For me, writing is me mostly reading and then me getting an idea and then writing something. So I don't know if I'll be writing an epic novel anytime soon,
That's really cool. Are you working on anything now or just seeing how it goes, reading, writing, playing around?
I'm writing new poems. I jumped right back into it once the book got accepted. Once Diode Editions took the book for publication, I had this sort of panic, like all my poems had been taken away from me. So I got back into writing immediately. And this summer, I teach at Nassau Community College, but I decided not to teach this summer and kind of get myself in some sort of writing schedule. So.
Very nice, very nice. Well, we're very happy to have you, and we'll take photos later, especially when you guys are up on the stage in the theater. Have you been to the library since we redid it 10 years ago?
Yeah, no, I tend to get back here fairly often. Like I said, I teach at Nassau Community, so I'm in the area.
Well, thank you so much for the interview, and we'll let you know when it airs.
Thank you very much for having me.
This is Stacy Mencher with Turn the Page podcast, and I'm here with one of our authors at our local author showcase. Please introduce yourself and your book.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Friedland, the author of Trouble the Water.
Thank you for coming here and for interviewing with us.
Thank you for hosting me. I'm thrilled to be back in my hometown.
It's always good to have local talent come back. So please tell us a little about your book.
So it's historical fiction that takes place in Charleston, South Carolina, about 20 years before the Civil War. It involves some Underground Railroad, a little bit of romance, and a whole lot of chaos.
That sounds very interesting. I know we have a lot of patrons that love historical fiction. I am one of them. So I'm very excited. I will pick that up. And, you also have little flyers. Yeah. That's very cool. Yeah. Did you get to choose the cover of your book, which is like the silhouette?
I did not. My publisher, Spark Press, they gave me veto rights if I hated it, but I thought they did a beautiful job, and they designed it.
That's awesome. So are you living in Syosset now, or?
I'm not. I grew up in Syosset and left when I finished college, and I now live in Westchester.
Very cool. Did you come to the library when you grew up in Syosset?
Not only did I come to the library, but it still looks so similar to how it looked back then. I can't believe it. It's like walking into the past. It's awesome.
Well, we're very happy to have you back. Are you working on anything else for a new book?
I am. I'm very deep into my second novel. The second one is contemporary fiction, but I will hopefully finish it soon and have more to say about it shortly.
That's awesome. Do you prefer contemporary fiction or historical fiction?
I love them both. And the upside of the contemporary fiction is you can do it faster. There is still research you have to do, but not as much as the historical by a long shot. So I don't think I can choose between them. I kind of think I will be doing both for a long time to come.
Well, that's awesome. We look forward to more of your work.
Thank you.
And that's all for this interview on Turn the Page podcast. Hello, this is Stacy Mencher from the Syosset Public Library, and I'm here at our local author showcase. And let me introduce you to one of our other authors.
This is Dr. Dhruva Sulibhavi.
Thank you for coming and for being here tonight. We're so happy to have you guys. Would you like to tell us about your book?
Yes. This book is a collection of the story and some of my thoughts in extra essay form. Actually, this was published by my daughter as a surprise to me. So she made the selection of the pieces. Hopefully my next attempt will be soon and will be a little more organized.
Well, it looks like a very lovely book of your short stories. I like the cover. It's a very beautiful landscape photo. Did you choose it or did your daughter choose it?
Oh, my daughter. Everything is my daughter's. Yeah, she chose everything. She chose who to go to the publishing and all that. She did everything.
Well, it's beautiful. And I know that you also live in Syosset. So is it really cool to come here as an author instead of a patron?
Of course, it feels cool. But I have used the library over the years a number of times. I mean, you can say overused. But it's a new thing for me to come as an author.
We're very happy to have you. Do you have any favorite way of writing or anything that inspires you a lot?
Fiction in a short form, I find it more convenient so I can put my thoughts. And the other thing is the essay form. I like some thoughts. And naturally, I draw from life experience quite a lot. That's basically what it is.
Well, that sounds great. We're very excited to have you guys and to present you. So thank you for interviewing with us. We're very happy, and we'll let you guys know when it airs. This is Stacy Mencher for Turn the Page podcast, and I'm here interviewing one of our authors at the local author showcase. Please introduce yourself and your books.
Hello, my name is Deanne Marie, and I wrote a series of children's books about a character called Nick the Chick.
Very cute. I like how, is that like a drawing that you did yourself on the cover or someone that you know?
I did it, yeah. I did the illustrations, yeah.
That's awesome. Always good to have talented people and many talents.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So do you only have 2 books or do you have several books?
I have 2 at the moment, and I'm starting a 3rd, and I have many ideas for other books for the character.
That's great. Would you ever like to see your character made into like one of those costumed characters?
Yes, anything. Yeah, I would love that. I actually made a character myself from material, and I bring it when I do readings at elementary schools, and so
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming to our local author showcase. We're very excited to show off your books that are here, and we're also happy to learn more during your presentation in our theater.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Welcome to Turn the Page podcast. I'm Stacy Mencher, and I'm here at our local author showcase with one of our authors. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Stacy. I'm Jackie Fisher, author of the book The Lost Branch.
Oh, very nice. Welcome to our library and to the showcase. I see you have a lot of stuff that you brought with you that was inspired by the book and has to do with the book.
Absolutely. I love the visual aid, and when I talk about my book, I like to share the experience through a lot of hands-on items.
That's really cool. Do you want to walk us through some of the stuff you have?
Sure. First of all, my book is based on a true story, nonfiction, about my grandfather and how he was separated from his brother at Ellis Island. The book is written all in rhyme. And it was written across the ocean because my cousins in Sicily that we reunited with were able to help me produce this book. So it's really a special meaning to my family and a lot of fun. I brought a little helicopter because the Carabinieri is important to the family over there. The father's a policeman over there. And I brought Etna, some lava from Etna because we went up to Etna when I was on Sicily. It was an amazing experience. And everything that I brought here is in my story. So it talks about our travels, our experiences. The Italian language is in here. There's a little bit if kids want to learn Italian. The book is made 4th grade to 8th grade, but it's all for all ages.
That's great.
It's a lot of fun to read. My cousins did these illustrations. The Long Island Ducks are in here because when my cousins, we sponsored them to come over from Italy to Long Island, and they went to New York for the first time, and they got to experience Long Island. So kids like it because it is truly a Long Island book, but there's a lot of stuff in here about Italy and Sicily and all about family and experiences and food because we all know about the Italian food.
It's delicious.
It's delicious. So between talking about the food and travel, it's a fun story. And a lot of kids these days are learning about immigration in the younger 3rd grade, 4th grade in schools. And a lot of families can just relate, whether they're Italian, Irish, German. Everybody came over.
It's true. And just like talking about that, I remember when I was in elementary school having to do like the whole Ellis Island. We visited. We had to like learn about our history, who came from where. But it's really cool that you have it for all ages because like even if kids are in school and like you said, they could relate on anything. The whole family could get involved and read this.
Absolutely, and it is in rhyme, so it's a little Dr. Seuss-like, and has a lot of nice pictures from the old pictures to the present time, and it really is a heartwarming story about a reunion that takes place between Italy and the United States. So a long overdue family reunion. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming. We're so excited, and you can find the books in libraries across Long Island and available for purchase
on Amazon and Amazon Kindle.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacy. Have a great night.
This is Stacy Mencher from Turn the Page podcast at the Syosset Public Library's local author showcase, and I'm here with another author. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Michael Weinstein.
Welcome to the library. I see that you are from around here, so are you happy to be back?
Yes, I've pretty much been here most of my life. I grew up in Jericho, but I went to Syosset schools, so I'm a local resident. I live in Syosset now. But I went to Robbins Lane Elementary School, I went to Southwoods Middle School, I went to Syosset High School. I got married, and then I moved back in the 90s, so I'm pretty much here for decades.
Well, we're very happy to have you here. So you do have your book, 10 Times Chai. So what is it about?
Okay, well, basically, the word Chai in Judaism means life. So the book is called 10 Times Chai to represent 10 times life, or 180 synagogues. And basically, I published a book about 180 existing synagogues in New York City, all 5 boroughs.
Oh, wow. How long did it take you to go through and research them?
It took roughly a year. I did it part-time. I basically started out by visiting Holocaust survivors, and I would volunteer once a week, and then it became twice a week. So I'd go from my office in Jericho and my home in Syosset. I'd go once a week on a Thursday night, then on a Sunday morning, and I'd visit 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 Holocaust survivors. And after a couple of months, I kept on going, but I would kind of wander. There's an expression, the wandering Jew.
Yep.
Okay, the wandering Jew is the plant, but in my terms, a wandering Jew is a Jewish person who gets to see different neighborhoods. So I'd be all over Brooklyn in different neighborhoods, and I wound up taking pictures, first with my cell phone. And after a couple of months, I had photos of about 40, 45 different synagogues, and I got the idea of possibly doing a book.
Do you have a favorite synagogue that's featured in the book, or you have several favorites?
I always like to say every synagogue is important. There are some synagogues that are glamorous. There are many that are not so glamorous. There's some with a lot of congregants, some with very few. My personal favorite is called Bialystoker. It was founded in 1865. It's on the Lower East Side. It has beautiful painted murals. It's really a gem. The Lower East Side used to have many, many synagogues. This is one of the few remaining ones. My whole life I grew up eating a bialy. So I always wondered where that came from. Bialy comes from a town called Bialystok. It's a town in Poland. And this synagogue, which is one of my favorites, is named after Bialystok. It's called the Bialystoker Synagogue.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that you might want to go and see the synagogues on Long Island now after doing the city?
Very interesting question. Someone beat me to it. Someone a couple of months ago, it was an idea in my head, and someone published a book, Synagogues of Long Island. So
oh, wow.
It's already been done. Saves me a lot of effort, a lot of driving.
So in your book, do you have photos that you took on your phone from when you visited them in the book?
What happened was, I'm a financial advisor, so I learned everything kind of the hard way. I started on my phone, and when I decided to publish a book, they said, look, these are beautiful photos, but they don't reproduce well from your Samsung Galaxy. So I had to buy a camera. A lot of these people just use their cameras. I bought a regular camera. And I actually started taking the same pictures. I went back to the same 40, 45 places, and I retook those pictures. And I was going to do a book of 100 synagogues of Brooklyn. But somewhere along the line, I realized that not only did I have roots in Brooklyn, after I got married, after I went to high school in Syosset, after college, I lived in Manhattan. I was originally born in Queens. A lot of the family came from Brooklyn. My grandfather once lived in the Bronx. I have great-grandparents buried on Staten Island, so I had roots in all 5 boroughs. So I set out to do 180 synagogues in all the 5 boroughs.
Well, that's amazing. I'm excited to see and learn more about your book when we have the actual showcase in our theater later this evening.
Thank you very much.
Great. That's all for now. This is Stacy Mencher with Turn the Page podcast at the 5th annual local author showcase, and I'm here with one of our local authors. Please introduce yourself and your books.
Stephanie Kepke. My print books are Boys, Dogs, and Chaos and Goddess of Suburbia, and I have 2 ebooks also, A New Life and You and Me, and I have a very short story as well that's on Amazon, Girls' Night Out.
Oh, that sounds fun. So we saw you before earlier talk about your books and about writing. What was your favorite thing about writing? What's your least favorite thing about writing?
My favorite thing would be just to really escape into other worlds. It's really, though one of my books is essays, so for that, my favorite thing is that I find it a huge stress relief to write essays about things that are stressing me out. My book of essays has health scares I've had about parenting 2 children. Well, actually, at that point, it was 1 child with mental illness. Really just the gamut of things, but there are funny things in there as well, so sometimes I'd find myself laughing while writing things. And for my novel, it was just really fun to kind of live another life, and for novels, I let the characters take me on a trip. They pretty much determine where they go. I know that might sound odd, but there were scenes where I thought the characters would do one thing, and I said, you know what? One of the characters, she's not ready to do that yet, and she kind of, that might sound crazy, but it's very organic. I don't really plan out books, so.
That's really cool. Which is your most recent book out of the two we see here?
Boys, Dogs, and Chaos is my most recent. That's a book of essays, and that came out in, the ebook came out in December 2016, and the print book in March 2017. That got delayed because my publisher went out of business when it was in proofreading. So that was a little difficult, but everybody from my team kind of stayed with me. So it was my cover designer, my proofreader finished the job, and the head of production for my publisher laid it out for me. So it worked out.
Well, we're very happy that it got published.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for the interview. We're very excited that you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And that's the end of this chapter on Turn the Page. This is Stacy Mencher for Turn the Page podcast, and we are at the 5th Annual Local Author Showcase, and I'm here to interview one of our authors, Mr. Jim Kelly.
Good evening. This has been an interesting experience to be able to speak in public again. I haven't done that in a while. I did testify before Congress a few times and influence a couple of presidents, and that's why I'm writing yet another book, which will be available next year.
That's awesome. We're very happy that you have books and you're working on one.
And if God grants me another birthday, I will be 90. And I have influenced many things. Anybody that has an IRA, anybody who's flown on a jet aircraft, anybody who enjoys getting weather reports from space, they should each send me $5 and then I'll retire. Thanks.
Sounds like a good plan. Thank you for coming to the Local Authors Showcase. We're very happy to have you. This is Stacy Mencher at the Syosset Public Library's Local Author Showcase, and I am with one of our other authors. Please introduce yourself.
You're Stacy, and I'm Dr. John Cron.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you for coming and being a part of our showcase.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
I see that you have several books here. Are you only these 4 books, or have you written more?
I've written a dozen books, and these are my 4 recent books. And at the showcase, I'm going to talk about 2 of the books. One is Special Stories, A Long Life's Journey, and the other being Living a Happier Life at Every Age.
Well, that sounds very interesting. The covers look very nice and colorful. We'll have photos on our website and Instagram. But which one is the most recent book that you've written?
The most recent is The Stories, A Long Life's Journey. They're all true stories. There's 65 of them, and they're kind of fun. They're amusing and inspirational, and it was sort of a collection over a long life.
That sounds awesome. I like the photo. Is that a photo that you chose of someone in your family that you know, or just someone that the publisher put on the cover?
Well, I had a choice of what photos and the layout of the cover, and so it is a stock photo. The dog is not mine, thankfully, but it's a stock cover.
It's very nice. And I see your other 2 books, Brief Prayers for Busy Lives and From Surviving to Thriving, A Practical Guide to Revitalize Your Church, are very nice and very colorful too, very eye-catching and appealing.
Well, I think that's very important because the first thing, it's like a relationship. You see somebody, and if he's gorgeous, you're going to be interested right away, right, Stacy?
Right.
Okay, so you see a book cover, and immediately you make a judgment. Is this something that I want to pick up? And if so, then you look at the back and you see what it's about. And if you're kind of interested, you might read the beginning, the foreword, or at least the table of contents before you give up your hard-earned money.
So what inspired you to write?
Well, you don't have enough time on your podcast for that, Stacy. I just say that it's been a lifelong thing. I've been writing for over 40 years, and I had written my first 6 books, and then I stopped, and 40 years later I started again, and now that I have a little more time, it's kind of fun to pick it up again.
It's very nice. It's awesome that you have a lot of books. I'm sure we could get the titles and give them out to our patrons if they're interested. And they are available for purchase here at the Local Author Showcase, but are they also available online at Amazon or other libraries?
They're available in libraries. They're available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. My publisher, CSS Publishing. Some are on Cokesbury. So there are a number of venues, different ones for different venues, yes.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for coming to our local author showcase. It's the 5th one this year. We're very excited to hear you guys talk about yourselves and your books to the rest of the public that'll be here.
Well, you're welcome. I hope to learn something from my fellow authors.
Thank you. This is Stacy Mencher with the Turn the Page podcast at the Syosset Public Library Local Author Showcase, and I'm here with one of our featured authors. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Antoinette Trulio Martin. I'm the author of Hug Everyone You Know, A Year of Community, Courage, and Cancer.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a very nice book, uplifting and heartwarming.
Yes, well, there's a happy ending. I'm still here.
That's great to hear. We're very happy to have you at the library and to showcase.
Great event. Wow, very nice.
Are you working on anything else?
Yes, I'm I'm actually actively going back to doing children's literature. I originally had a children's picture book published in '93. That was called Famous Seaweed Soup. So I'm ready to get back into my children's lit.
That's awesome, because we always love more children's authors.
Oh, I love that.
You guys are very fun to hang out with.
Yes, we are.
But thank you for coming, and we're excited to see what you present with everybody else.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's time to close this chapter of Turn the Page. Join us for the next episode.